Hi everyone, I'm here to do my wrap up for the month of May, and I know I'm really ridiculously late with this. I'm recording this on the 9th. Hopefully it goes up today. But I've been really busy with work. I started working full time about a week ago, and it's been really hectic for me to get used to it. But I'm doing okay. I'm really happy that I have a job, and I've managed to read some books, so I'm really excited for that. Um, First up, let me talk. Stupid phone. First up, let me talk about the books that I read on my Kindle. First up, I read The Girl in the Clockwork Collar by Kady, which is the second book in the Steampunk Chronicles. Really enjoyed that one. I loved the first one, The Girl in the Steel Corset, and the second one is almost just as good. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. My review on the blog is up already. I will leave a link down below. I'm excited to read a new book about Finley and Griffin. I love Griffin. But I really like the world building and the characters and the chemistry between them is really good. And I'm sorry, I'm very excited, so I say really a lot. I'll try to temper myself a bit in that, but I can't promise anything. Next up, I read From Fame to Shame by Veronica, which is a contemporary novella. It's about a girl who switches places with her twin sister, who is a movie star, which basically turns out that she gets into trouble with her ex-boyfriend, her sister's ex-boyfriend, and it was a really cute story if you're looking for a cute summer short story. I would recommend it. I enjoyed it, and I think I gave it 4 out of 5. I was part of the blog tour for that one. I will leave a link down below to my post, and yeah. And then I was also part of the blog tour for My Vampire Summer by Elle. I previously read The Changelings, which is the first book in her War of the Fae series. Really enjoyed it. And I was excited to read another book of hers. It's a novella about a girl who goes on holiday to France and she meets this vampire guy there, and turns out that she has a role to fulfill in some kind of prophecy or destiny or whatever. I really liked it. It was pretty fast paced. I liked the chemistry. I think I gave it 4 out of 5. I will leave a link down below to the blog post for the blog tour. Then I read Here Where the Sunbeams Are Green by Helen Phillips, which is a middle grade story about a girl and her sister who go to this tropical island where their father works, and turns out that he's being brainwashed into capturing one of the almost extinct birds. Anyway, he's being brainwashed and they have to try and stop him, and it's a cute middle grade story about two girls discovering how the world goes around, and they make some friends along the way, and I quite enjoyed it, but I couldn't be bothered about what happened, so that's why I only gave it 3 out of 5, because it wasn't a bad story at all, but I just didn't care about the characters. So with everything that happened, I didn't care if it went left or right. Just I couldn't be bothered to care about it, so that's why I gave it 3 out of 5. Then I read Once by Carey, which is the sequel to Eve, which I've really enjoyed reading last year. It's a dystopian tale about a girl who lives in a world where, how to say this without spoiling anything. She grew up on this school, and the school had only girls, and they are taught to be like the new pioneers for this city of sand, which is where the president lives. But then she finds out that when you graduate, you don't get to do the profession you chose in school, and something horrible happens and takes up from there. That's basically what happens in Eve, and Once takes up from where Eve left off. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It was fast-paced, loved the chemistry, loved the plot line. I'm very curious to see what happens in book 3 after that cliffhanger ending. And I liked the new characters that were introduced, and I love that not everyone was pure evil, but was made human, if that's possible to explain. Anywho, I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 out of 5. And then I read another review book. I read Prim, Improper by Deirdre Sullivan, I say out of my head, which is also a middle grade book. It's about a girl who basically keeps her diary and tells us what goes on in her life. Her mom died in a hit and run accident, and she had to live with her father, and her parents weren't married, so it's a switch of life for her. I couldn't be bothered about this book. I read it. It was funny at times, but I just didn't care. And if I don't care about the book, I just don't like it. It can have a great story, but you have to be able to enthrall me as a reader, and I wasn't enthralled. I didn't like it. I kept putting it away and then picking it up and putting it away and picking it up just to keep reading, because I knew that if I would put it away for a too long a time, I would never pick it up again. And I wanted to finish it, and I hated the ending because it was quite open, made no sense, no conclusions, whatever. Didn't like it, so I think I gave it 2.5 out of 5 or something. It was funny at times, and it had some potential. It reminded me a bit of the Georgia Nicholson series by Louise Renison, but not as good, not nearly as good. And then I treated myself to a not review books because I was doing Bella and Dav's Epic Review Month, but I cheated, and well, it was not really cheating because I allowed myself to read Insurgent, which I didn't read, so I read this one instead. I read Stormborn by Richelle Mead, which is the first book in the Dark Swan series. Really enjoyed this book. It was really good. It's an urban fantasy adult series. It was really good. Loved the chemistry. Loved one of the male characters. I've read the second book already, so I really want to tell you what I think right now, but after this book I loved Kyo, and I was not sure about the other characters, but I really enjoyed this story. It was really good. If you are looking for an adult urban fantasy series, I would definitely recommend picking up the Dark Swan series, because I really enjoyed it. That's everything that I read on my Kindle. I also read 2 physical copies. First one is a review book. I read Soulmates, Het Verhaal van Sky by Josh Stirling, which is called Finding Sky in English. Really enjoyed this one. Even though there was a lot of insta-love, I really liked the way it was written and the chemistry between the characters and the plotline, and overall I just really like the story, and I'm really looking forward to reading book 2, which I already bought and will show you in my next video, I think, which will be my book haul or my to be read pile. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, I enjoyed this one. I would definitely recommend it. I gave it 4 out of 5, and yeah, it was pretty big, but I read it so quickly. So yeah. And then last but not least, I read one of my exceptions. I had 2, like I said. I promised myself I could read Insurgent, but I also said to myself that I could read The Serpent Shadow by Rick Riordan, which is the 3rd and final book in the Kane Chronicles, and as you all know, I'm a big Rick Riordan fan. This one picks up after the second book, and it takes off at the same pace, the same quality story. I really liked it. Some things I could predict them from like 3 miles away, but nonetheless I really enjoyed reading it. I thought it was a great conclusion to the series. But I want to say how awesome is the cover art for this book. John Rocco does all of Rick's books cover work. I'm not really making much sense, but he does all the cover art for Rick Riordan, and it's awesome. Anyway, I really like the cover art. I really like the stories. I'm a bit sad that I have to wait for the Heroes of Olympus books now to come out, and not a second series during the year, you know. But it finished on a decent end, even though I was disappointed that I could see some of the conclusions coming. I really enjoyed this book, and I really like the series. I also decided to put 2 books away that I was reading. I marked them unfinished for now. Maybe I'll pick them up in the future. But I did not finish The Thief by Megan Whalen Turner. I got about halfway in. It didn't hold my attention anymore, and yeah, it reminded me a lot of Touch of Power by Maria B. Schneider, even though it it's not nearly the same thing, but it had the same feel. And I'm hoping I can pick this one up in the future again, because the story sounds really good. Plus, it won a ton of prizes. Um, but for now, I'll be putting it down, and I took it off my currently reading list on Goodreads. And the second one is The Unbecoming of Mara Dyer. I stopped reading it at about 100 pages in. I had just read about the part with the dog. The people who've read this book know what I'm talking about. She just found the dog. I thought it was disgusting, didn't make sense at all, and I put it down because I was like, what the heck is going on there? And I never picked it up again, and when I put it down, it was like April, and it's June now, so I thought it was time to put it on my unfinished shelf on Goodreads. Maybe I'll pick it up in the future, because I do love the cover, and people have been raving about it. But yeah, it was not for me in my current state of mind, let's put it at that. It was blurred by Veronica Roth, which bumps me out because I really want to like this book, but I just couldn't get into it. So yeah, I'm putting this one on my did not finish shelf. And yeah, that's everything for my wrap up for the month of May. I read a decent amount of books for someone who is really tired every single day after work. But anyway, let me know in the comments below what you guys read in the past month or so. If you have any great books everyone should check out, leave them as well. And that's it for now, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.